Hey Seesaw Ambassadors, it's Angela, and I wanted to start off our training with giving you hands-on experience with using Seesaw as a student. So I'm going to refer to you as technology trainers. In your application, you indicated that you have the role of maybe a tech coach or technology integration or an admin, or maybe you're in IT, but your role is mainly to support teachers when they're using technology. So I wanted to make sure that you know the ins and outs of the hands-on aspect of Seesaw, and I know tons of you already do. So here we go. So what we're going to start with is you're going to need a second device to actually participate actively with this presentation. So that means you can view it here on the web. Maybe you're taking the course online right now, but you're going to want to have a second device like an iPad or your phone or another laptop handy. And if you're on a mobile device, make sure you have that updated to Seesaw 5.0. That is our newest release. So get your second device handy because you will need that as we progress here. So our plan in this session is I'm going to just go super basic with intros to Seesaw. You are going to experience it as a student today, and you're actually going to be adding 3 items to our Seesaw class. So I also want to give you some tools that you can kind of have in your back pocket as you start working with teachers. So Seesaw, just basics to kind of start us off here, is really a tool for students to use to capture their learning. We know it's a student-driven digital portfolio that empowers students. There's several tools for creation just in this app, as you already know, and all these items can be shared with the family, peers, or the world. Great for documenting growth and easy for any teacher. This is my short list of all the reasons that I love Seesaw. So I'm not actually going to read them right now, but if you want to pause this video and take time to read each one, the things that jump out at me here are the items, the words that I've highlighted in kind of the red color. Those are the things that when I think of Seesaw, that's what I think about. So take time to read through this. But what I want to do right now is really get you experiencing Seesaw from the student perspective. So I think sometimes in the role that you're in, some people are in the classroom all the time using Seesaw, and some of you might be more in a different role where you're really, again, supporting teachers from afar as they're using it. So let's take some time here to jump in. So what I have created is a class called Ambassadors Tech Trainers. So what is unique about this class is that I don't have all of your names listed. I instead listed the alphabet A to Z, and you will add content to this class that matches the first letter of your first name. Also note that this class is set up as a QR code shared device class. So what that means is you are going to be able to scan a QR code to join this class. That's the best way for me to get that to work with our online training here because the QR code does not ever expire. So that's why it's set up in that way. So we're going to get ready to jump in. First thing to note is if you are signed in as a teacher in any Seesaw account, sign out. Otherwise, this is not going to work for you because we are going to be a student right now. So what you're going to do is on your device, just go ahead and launch the Seesaw app. You'll notice the 2 views that you might have depending on the device you're on. So if you are on a Chromebook or the web or a laptop, you just need to go to app.seesaw.me as you see here on the right, and you're going to tap I'm a student. You're going to do the same thing as if you're launching the app on an iPad or Android or Kindle, any of those mobile devices. So all you've done so far is made sure you're signed out of Seesaw, and we are tapping I'm a student. And of course, because this is a recording, you can pause at any time. Now you'll notice after you tap I'm a student, we're going to have a built-in QR scanner just pop right up. You might also get something that's asking you to enable access to your camera. You definitely want to allow that for the QR reader to work. That's built into Seesaw. And then what we're going to do right now is go ahead and scan this QR code. This QR code is going to get you into our class. So if you need to pause this recording to get this QR code scanned, you can do that. Also note that in our class, there is an option to download this QR code and actually print it out if that's easier for you to access this class. All right, so then once you've scanned the QR code, again, I'm just going to remind you, pause at any time if you need to. This is what your view is going to look like. So from iOS or the web, it's going to look like it does here on the left. And on the right, if you're on a mobile device, it also looks similar to that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to tap the green Add button because we are going to be adding our first item. That's going to bring you to our Add Item screen. Now, I'm going to pause here for a moment because this is the view from what it looks like on an iPad. And you might be thinking, Angela, I only see 6 icons. And that might be because you're web-based. Of course, on the web, we don't have a camera roll. So it's going to have Add File in that camera roll position. So you haven't done anything wrong if you're seeing only 6 icons. So again, just quickly, these are all of the tools that are built right into Seesaw. So if your teachers are using any sort of Google Apps or things like that, the Add File tool are going to love because it brings that content right into Seesaw to share with those meaningful audiences. Links, any sort of links to websites or any content that you've created elsewhere can go into Seesaw. And of course, fun app smashing can happen with the camera roll. We're going to focus mainly today on the top 3 tools, the basics, and we're going to get started with that. So the first tool we're going to talk about is the photo tool. Now with the photo tool, you can record voice on a photo, draw on it, or even add a caption or a text label. The photo is built in, the camera is built into Seesaw, so you don't need to jump out and use some different app to do that. You're going to take a photo right now of your view. So wherever you are right now, take a picture of your view with photo. And then after you've taken your picture, you're going to tap the T, which is the text tool. And after that, I want you to type your name, type your title, and any additional information you want to share. And again, this is just our hands-on practice here. And then tap the green check when you are done with that part. And that is going to bring you to a preview screen. You'll notice the black bar shows up under the photo. It's letting you preview what you've already done, but giving you an option to annotate another way. So maybe you want to add voice or drawing, whatever you want. But if this looks good to you, tap the green check in the upper right to signify you're done with that part. Now you're going to be brought to our screen where you're going to select the first letter of your first name. So just tap next to the first letter of your first name and then touch the green check to add it to your Seesaw journal. And again, we are in a shared class environment here. So, we've got hundreds of tech trainers in this training right now. So it might be that there might be 5 people that have a name that starts with D. So don't worry if you're seeing content added. That's how this class is set up. And your item is added normally in a classroom after teacher approval. I have turned that feature off because I know that you all model great digital citizenship. So you can pause the video here if you want to see some picture prompts to walk you through adding your first item to Seesaw. But let's keep cruising here. So classroom ideas. I think it's best to start simple. Okay, if you're working with teachers, it's okay for them to start simple. Maybe they're using the tool as a teacher at first, and they're just walking around capturing learning as it's happening in the classroom with simply using the photo. So they understand the flow. Wonderful. But soon, it's good for teachers to start handing that ownership over to students. They can easily use the photo tool and start documenting their learning. So here you're seeing, a student as young as kindergarten that is doing this independently. And then stage 2 for students, they can start adding layers of content or annotations to their work. So maybe they're taking a photo and now they're drawing on top of it. Again, we're scaffolding, we're building up how they're potentially responding to their learning. And then stage 3 for students is, again, adding more layers of content. So again, me coming from my kindergarten experience, we did little baby steps of this. So we added, a tool at a time or different annotations at one time. If you're working with older students in classrooms with, teachers that are working, say they're 5th grade and above, they can be tackling lots of different tools at once. So what I want you to do is actually take a moment and think about your Seesaw goal for this year. And I have an example here of a 1st grader setting their goal for 1st grade. But I want you to get ready. Again, we're going to play along as a student and grab that device for recording. And you are going to practice with photo and voice right now. So again, if you need to pause, you can pause. But what you're going to do is tap that green add button in the upper right. Then you're going to tap photo. You could take a selfie, or you can show us a picture of something that you love. But then you're going to tap the mic under the photo and actually tell us your Seesaw goal for this year. And then you're going to do the green check and follow that green check till it's added to your Seesaw journal. All right, tool number 2 we're going to talk about briefly is our drawing tool. Again, I'm starting super basic, and I think that's a great idea to start super basic with brand new teachers as well. So our drawing tool has lots of options, and of course you can use any of these options on top of a photo as well. So here's just kind of a layout of what options you have in the drawing tool. Again, this is from iOS. Looks pretty similar from the web though as well. Here are a couple examples of using the drawing tool to annotate work. So this is an example actually from my son.
You can see the lines that I've drawn are not parallel. Let me show you a line of parallel lines. T and S and Q and R are parallel.
So again, this is a pretty simple example, but again, that visual, the ability for my son to visually have, be able to draw on that, he actually understood parallel lines. We were in a little bit of a meltdown one night at homework time. So again, these are just simple examples, even something as simple as a kindergartner counting by fives. Instead of having the teacher sit with, students one-on-one for 30 minutes assessing counting by ones or fives, students in my classroom, I had 5 shared iPads, so they would just show me in Seesaw.
I can count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
So what I'm getting at here is that as you start to use even just the basic tools in Seesaw, you can start to think how what teachers are already doing in their classroom can be enhanced with Seesaw. So we're going to practice a little bit with notes here, and you're going to tap the green add button in the upper right hand corner. Go ahead and tap the note item and then add an item to Seesaw with the note explaining your next 2 steps with Seesaw. I'm guessing one of them is going to be continue with your ambassador training. All right, so I want to talk quickly about inviting families to Seesaw because I must say this is one of the most powerful components of Seesaw is to create that communication between home and school. So I'm actually going to jump into our Seesaw class right now to show you exactly how to do that. Now, what you'll notice here is that